Hi, and welcome to the Curtis World Podcast, where I discuss situations that are going on right here in the United States, as well as other events that happen throughout the world. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss anything that's important that's going on right around you. We must talk about what's going on in Los Angeles and the areas around there and the wildfires. You know, it seems like we go from one major disaster to another one. And so what happens, or what is happening currently in the LA area, it looks like a lot of it is from neglect. You know, when we go to the polls and we vote for people, a lot of times we make it too political and we don't think about, is this person going to take care of me and my family and my community, or am I just being political in this? This is one of those times that the people in California really need to really look to see if they are voting for people that are going to take care of them and their communities. Anyway, just take a look at this and see what some of the people in that area are saying about things that are just happening to them right now.
I went to check on their house.
Holy I've never seen anything like this in my life.
This was our place, our home.
5, 6, 8, 10 houses in our neighborhood just gone like that.
It appears to be a total loss. It's unsafe for us to go inside.
It's apocalyptic, it's chaotic.
Everything is on fire. Everything's on fire.
It's like a bomb was dropped on them.
With all of the things that are going on in the Los Angeles area, we must ask ourselves, is there a connection between the fires and how they have started and how they're being managed in California, and to the fires that happened into Lahaina, Maui, a part of Hawaii, just a year ago? We must ask ourselves those questions because there are too many similarities. Some of the similarities is that when the fires happened in Maui, whomever was over their management system there appeared to have forgotten to turn on sirens so that they could let people or warn people that they were in danger. And then they even had the children to stay home from school that day, which was very, very odd. And then they had over 2,000 children that were missing, and they would not even let their families go in to even see if the children were in the homes. But now the similarities also go to the point where you look at what's happening, and like a year or two before this happened, that they had the insurance companies all cancel their policies. Now, just think about this. You own a home and your home is $1 million. I'm just going to throw that figure out there. You have $1 million home, your insurance is canceled, and then you have a fire that destroys the entire home. Okay, there's not much that you can do after that happens unless you are a multi-millionaire to go back and rebuild all that you have lost in this fire. That in itself is very suspicious. And even there are several times when President Trump in the last few years had advised California to do something about the way that they were storing water in case they had fires. So not only do you have the similarities with the fires, but you have similarities as well with Hawaii in the way that they were managing their water system. And one of the greatest things is that they were saying, well, we don't have any water. Okay, what do you mean you don't have any water? You're right off the ocean, and there is a system that you can use, and other countries use it as well, where they can go in and they can change that salt water and take the salt and minerals out so that the water can be used for purposes even for drinking and even industrial purposes as well. But anyway, just take a look at this and just see what you think about the similarities, and if you think that there is something going on with these fires where you have companies that are coming in, the insurance is canceled, which means the people cannot afford to rebuild, and then these people come in and they buy these homes for pennies on the dollar. Is there something going on in this country? And this is the second time that we've had something to this magnitude as far as a fire, but even the people in North Carolina are saying that the same thing has happened to them even after the flood. So do we have someone that's coming in and causing natural disasters so that they can come in and purchase the land at just, almost pennies on the dollar, and then they're leaving all of these Americans without homes and without any assets? Because once you lose your home and you still have a mortgage, or you have a car that's in the garage that you are still paying for, then that totally destroys families. Anyway, take a listen and see what you think about this.
California is about to become the fastest transfer of wealth in American history, just like Maui, where, of course, paychecks were handed out to people, property owners, for their homes, for people who lived there for generations. Walk away from your homes for good. Constitutional lawyer Lionel Nation just posted this a short time ago, and this is what's about to happen, folks. He says, out of nowhere, you will now see throngs and hordes of anonymous investors handing out checks in return for quitclaim deeds. This will be the fastest and most accelerated transfer of wealth you have ever seen. Now, this reminds me, and I was thinking about this after Jack Prosopiak posted this, and I was like, wait a second, he's absolutely right. If you've never seen the movie Chinatown, fantastic movie, Jack Nicholson, 1974. Literally, he says, this is the entire plot of Chinatown. It's about the California water wars and how corrupt bureaucrats, predatory elites intentionally dumped water into the ocean to create an artificial drought to devalue land so they could buy it all up. It's exactly what's happening here. Truth is stranger than fiction, though.
Always.
Something that everyone should be concerned about is when you are electing someone for a position. And that's why I always tell people, I used to be a Democrat, then I'm now an independent. I am a conservative, so in the last election or so, I might vote more Republican, but I have a habit now, as I've matured, that my voting habits have also matured, and that I vote for people that I feel like will protect me, my family, my community, and my country. And that's what it looks like. Everyone has to start making wiser decisions. You have to start looking, are you taking care of me right now? Listen to this report and see, do you feel that the people you are electing are taking care of you and your basic needs? Water is a basic need. Your home is a basic need. And it seems like they've been so caught up in all of these conservation efforts and things like climate change that they forgot that you have to take care of people today. You have to make sure that the people today can survive something like a natural disaster or even a disaster that may be started by someone else. You must take care of your citizens today. So the people of California have to stop and think, are you electing the right people to take care of you?
But Mayor Bass, Governor Newsom, the federal government, they have all failed the people of California. Much of the dry brush all across all of Southern California has not been cut back for quite some time. They have a science. It's called forestry. You have controlled burns. You prevent fires like this from happening. Now, the L.A. Fire Department, they are understaffed. They are underfunded. Mayor Karen Bass increased, by the way, this year's library budget nearly $15 million, while simultaneously she cut the fire department's funding by $17.6 million. That was only a couple of months ago. The mayor also recently touted a $400 million handout from the Biden administration, $400 million that they allocated for green environmental efforts at the Port of Los Angeles. On top of that, they spent another $2+ billion, and they can't afford to pay firefighters, knowing that wildfires like you're watching on your screen are common. Meanwhile, the city's fire chief obsessively prioritizing her department's time funding for DEI. The water management and infrastructure in Southern California is also a huge problem. Firefighters all across the city encountering malfunctioning hydrants as part of the city is completely, now they've ran out of water. And get this, because of the state's insane environmental regulations, their capitulation to the environmental movement, well, it's designed to protect a rare, fish species. Billions of gallons of water literally are dumped into the Pacific Ocean instead of being stored in reservoirs for emergencies like this. And several months ago, before the election, Donald Trump, he predicted about 4 months ago that this was a disaster ready to happen.
Now, according to the LA Times today, something very, very important happened. They found out that the reservoir that they use that's supposed to be used by firefighters was offline and turned off today, or for those few days during the fire. That is so important because it had over 117 million gallons of water that could have been used. Now, again, you have to ask yourselves these questions. We keep having these natural disasters or disasters, period. And I say natural, but some of them you're beginning to wonder if they're natural. And the reason I'm wondering if they're natural, because it's always something missing. If the people who are in charge had done this, then we would not be in the situation that we were in. If the reservoir was not offline, if it was working, then the firefighters would have had enough water to fight the fires. But it's so coincidental that that reservoir was not operating. It's so coincidental that all of these things keep happening in these areas. And then we keep going back to the same thing. And because someone did not do their job, then we have people who are suffering because of it. It's the same thing that happened in Maui. As I said, the person over emergency management did not turn on the siren that would have alerted people to the fires that were coming, so more people could have evacuated. The same thing that happened in New Orleans. If someone had the barriers up, but for some strange reason, those barriers were removed. This is something that every American needs to start thinking about. Why is it that we keep having these situations happen, and it seems like that somebody is forgetting or they are not doing something that would have saved the lives and would have saved all of these disasters from being nearly as bad as they were? These are things that we need to think about. Who's doing these things to us and why?